Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and as most of you know, I live here in California, and so every once in a while my content shifts to a little bit more of a local topic where I talk about California gun laws or things that are happening in my immediate area, and today's going to be one of those times. What I want to talk about today is transporting your firearms if you live in the state of California, or, you know what, and more specifically in Los Angeles or Orange County. Now, these are some things to remember. First off, okay, as a disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. Okay, I cannot give you legal advice or anything like that. I suggest that you do your own research, check out the penal codes, read everything for yourself. If you need to talk to a lawyer to make your determination. But do as much research as you can, like I did, and find out for yourself. Now, that being said, let's get started. Okay, so a couple of days ago I posted a video where I was building a first aid kit, and in the comments section I started talking to another channel here on YouTube called Echo316. Go ahead and give him a sub if you would, and I'll put a link to his channel down below. Now what we started talking about was he had also built a first aid kit using a Voodoo tactical rip-away pouch, and what he does is he keeps a pistol with 2 loaded magazines in it locked in his vehicle when he leaves. And I thought that was pretty cool because he also lives in California, and I do the same thing. I never leave the house without there being my kit or my firearm in one of my vehicles. So he posted another video that had some great links to it, to some wiki pages and some excerpts of some penal codes, things like that. And I just thought, you know what, this is something that we need to talk about a little bit more, because in California we've for the most part been completely disarmed once we leave the house. But there are some legal ways to make sure that you have some protection with you. Might not be easily accessible, but you know what, at least we have it, right? If there is some type of social unrest and you can't get home, you know what, it comes down to having something to protect yourself, but staying within the boundaries of the law. So let me show you real quick what I have. This is what I slide under the seats of my truck every time I leave my house, and it contains what I consider to be my essentials when it comes to weapons. Now I have my get home bag and things like that, which kind of have my prepping essentials in it, but this particular case contains the weapons that I'm going to use, and I have to make sure that I transport it legally. So I'm going to show you the contents real quick. Okay, so as you see, it's pretty dirty. It goes in and out of the truck constantly, and you know what? I don't mind that it's dirty as long as it works. Now, Echo316, he uses like I said, he uses his medical kit, which is just a bag, like a tactical pouch, and he puts a lock through the 2 loops of the zipper ends, and that's really all that you need. Now, this particular one has a lock on both sides. I only lock one of them because that's really all you need. You just need a case that locks. It doesn't even have to be for your pistol. It just has to be a case that locks. Now, as the law goes, it states that you have to carry your pistol unloaded and locked. It doesn't say that you can't have the ammunition loaded into the magazines, or that it can't be in the same locked case. It just can't be loaded. So here's how I have mine set up. I keep everything in here the same except for the pistol. The pistol comes out because it's also my home defense pistol. Okay, and here's how I have my setup. And this is basically how it stays. These 3 magazines stay here. The pistol goes in the house with me when I'm done, and right back in the case when I need to leave. So what I have here is 3 loaded magazines, and I have it loaded with my favorite ammunition, the Hornady Critical Duty, which is good for, you know, full-size pistols. I also have my, this is kind of a recent addition. I used to have a different holster in here, but this is the Tough Unifit holster, and I like it because, you know what, it squishes down in the case. It doesn't take up too much space, so nothing kind of falls around. I have a flashlight. This is the indestructible Rayovac flashlight. And I have a couple light strips from Bright Strike. These are the A-Pals from Bright Strike. And then also another recent addition, I used to just keep a pocket knife, a folder in here, but now I've started keeping this in here, which is my FOB neck knife from Sly Steel. This is a great knife, and you know what? It just kind of keeps me hands-free. Just throw it around my neck if I need to. Now, the cool thing about this is I can leave the house with all of this, and it's completely legal, because as you can see, the firearm is empty, okay? Loaded chamber indicator without me racking it. You can see the loaded chamber indicator is down, and there's no magazine in there. So this is a completely legal case for me to take around as long as I keep it locked. So just close that up, close these, lock one of these sides. And now if something ever happens, okay, maybe there's, I don't know, rioting, civil unrest, a massive earthquake, and you're out with your family or just yourself and you need that protection to get home, you throw your backpack on your back, I can have this with me. Now, like I said, it doesn't have to be in a case like this. You can do the same thing as Echo 316 and throw it in a medical pouch or some type of a bag. As long as it's in your vehicle, it has to be locked. Now, in the case of, let's say, civil unrest and you have to take this out of your vehicle, well, now you're kind of taking things in your own hand because technically you're breaking the law. But the way that I see it is, at that point, I'm willing to go to jail as long as my family is safe. Okay, that's how I see it. I mean, if I have to go to jail versus my family getting murdered, I'm going to jail every time. Okay, that's just the way that it is. But I also want to live, within the boundary. I can't call myself a law-abiding citizen if I'm breaking the law by just transporting this the wrong way. So do keep it locked. Do keep the pistol unloaded. That's just my advice to you. Now, when it comes to rifles, the laws are a little bit different. It does not, a rifle, for instance, if you have it in a rifle case, does not have to be locked as long as it's in a rifle case that's made for a rifle. If, let's say, you put a rifle in, I don't know, something like a guitar case or something like that, okay, which isn't made for a rifle, then yes, it has to be locked, it has to be kept separate, and in any instance, your rifle still has to be unloaded. Okay, so if, for instance, you drive a minivan or a hatchback or something like that, I get the question sometimes where people are saying, how do I transport my firearm if I don't have a trunk? Or do I have to keep the ammo separate? Okay, that's why there's exceptions to the law, is because not all vehicles are the same. There's also exceptions to carrying concealed between one place and your vehicle. So for instance, if you're transporting your firearm, okay, let's say it's closed like this, and I leave my house to go to my car. Let's say that it's, 60 feet from my front door to my car. For that 60 feet, you're actually carrying a concealed firearm, whether or not it's loaded or not. But they actually built an exemption into the law that allows you to do that without being penalized, as long as it's going from point A to point B, no stops in between. Okay, and it's the same for going to your range from the car or to back to your house from the car, things like that. So there are exemptions. But keep in mind that between rifles, or basically let's just say this, between long guns and pistols, the laws do differ a little bit. Now you have to keep in mind that certain ordinances, let's say like gun-free zones, which we all know work, right? Gun-free zones, it doesn't matter how your rifle is, okay? If you're transporting it on a street that goes through one of those school zones, okay, it has to be locked. Now, even though it's in a correct case and everything else, you've now gone through that school zone, and while in that school zone, it needs to be locked. So keep those little nuances in mind of the law, because they can bite you if you happen to be pulled over for, not doing 25 in a school zone. So just, keep that in mind as well. So, like I said, this is kind of my urban tactical weapons kit. This is what I keep with me. And I just think a lot of people need to know that you can leave the house with a firearm. Now, another part of the law, if you're still watching this video, because it's kind of long and I don't usually do videos this long, but if you're still watching this video, another thing that I get questions on a lot, or at least sometimes, is do I have to be transporting this basically from my home to a range, or from my home to a place that I'm going to be shooting, or selling, or FFL, something like that? In the law that I've noticed, or at least everything that I've read, shows that there is no required destination, meaning that I can transport this from point A to point B no matter what point A or point B are. Okay, if I want to go from my home to a restaurant, point A to point B, doesn't matter. Okay, so you don't have to be going from the range per se to your house or vice versa. There's no stipulation for where you need to be headed. Okay, there is only laws for how it's handled going between two places. So as long as you're handling it correctly and within the law between those two places, where you end up is up to you. So if I wanted to take this, let's say, over to a friend's house to show him, obviously I could do that legally, as long as I'm transporting it by law, and if it's a pistol, it's locked, or if it's a rifle, it's in the proper case, and it's unloaded. So go ahead and click those links. Check this out for yourself, because if you're the type of person that leaves the house, without anything, and you really hate it, and you know that other states are more free, I know this still sucks. Okay, I know this isn't ideal or what our brothers and sisters in free states get to do. But we have to make sure that within the law we still are able to defend ourselves in situations that this will allow for. Obviously, if you're being carjacked or something instant happens, this is going to do you no good. You're not going to be able to go under your seat or in your back seat, whatever it is, and retrieve this and be able to unlock it, open it, load it. Okay, it's not for situations like that. But if something happens where you have the time, you have it with you, and I think that it's something that people should explore. Okay, have something in the car with you. It's better than a baseball bat under the back seat or a crowbar. And you know what? If you need to leave the vehicle and conceal it, you can still do that. So just something to keep in mind. Again, check out Echo 316's video. He has a great video on it as well. So thank you guys very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Make sure that you always have your weapon with you safely, and have a great day.